So we've been doing this, we will be doing this for the next several weeks. Basically, ang dinidiscuss kasi natin ngayon is the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Alam ko, marami sa inyo na gustong-gustong malaman itong 21 laws of leadership ni John Maxwell. And this is one of his best-selling books. In fact, a lot of, until today, pwede mo na kapag ikaw ay isang tunay na leader, kapag ikaw ay isang leader na pwede mong sabihin ako ay nakakapagpasunod, respeto, tinitingala ng ilang mga individual, sinasabi niya dito na kailangan sundin mo itong mga laws na ito. Pero itong maganda, di ba, nasa law number 2 na tayo. Ang maganda dito, sabi ni John Maxwell, itong 21 laws na ito, hindi mo kinakailangang aralin na magkakasunod. Na tipong kung ilan sa inyo hindi naka-attend ng law number 1, huwag niyo isipin na, hala, hindi ko na makukumpleto ito. Alam ko ano ang gagawin ko dahil na-miss ko na yung law number 1. Dito sinasabi hindi. It is not, that is not the case. In fact, ang sinasabi dito ni John Maxwell, kahit hindi mo masimulan sa law number 1, kahit hindi mo kahit may putol-putol ka pa or sa gitna lamang yun na pag-aralan mo, okay lang, sabi ni John Maxwell, because each law can stand on its own, can stand alone. Hindi kinakailangan sunod-sunod, hindi kinakailangan kumpleto. Yun ang kagandahan ng librong ito. Pwede mo siyang aralin kung ano man ang sa tingin mo. Halimbawa, sa ilan sa inyo, ay nako, importante sa akin itong law of influence because I'd like to know how I can influence people. Then you can start here. In fact, you can just listen on this particular law. And if this is the only law that you feel you need, you can even not take a look at the other laws if you want to, pero all of these laws naman are very powerful that we can use in our everyday lives. So it is okay if you don't complete. It is okay if you jump from one law to another. It is okay. So for some of you who are just tuning in now and you might have missed the other laws, it is just okay. You can just start now. Anyway, this is the good thing. Since we are showing this, or since we are doing this through FB Live, if you missed, okay if you missed the law number 1, you can still backtrack. Just check on my website or my Facebook account, Angel Lozari or Lozari Consulting, and you can watch law number 1. In fact, there are so many videos that I've already uploaded in Facebook. You can browse through all of them also. Pero yun nga we can look at this, we can analyze, we can study this particular law, and if we miss the other one, law number 1, just backtrack. Now you can start with this law of influence, which for me is a very powerful law. Why? Because it gives us an understanding on the real meaning, the real essence of what leadership is. And mamaya nga, John Maxwell will, in one of the famous quotes of John Maxwell, he will be zeroing in on that, on what influence is and how it impacts, how it relates to entire leadership or our concept of leadership. So, the law of influence, being the second law, for me, probably one of the reasons why he placed this as law number 2 is because of its importance. Because if you look at all the laws, you will realize that law number 2, the law of influence, is probably one of the most powerful laws of the 21 laws. Now, I'm not belittling or putting down the other laws. No, it's not like that. But I'm simply stating that of all the laws, 21 laws, probably, if you will be studying only a few, one, two, or three of the entire 21 laws, probably you don't have the time to study all, then maybe you would want to really focus on this law, or one of the laws that you might want to focus on is this particular law, the law of influence. That is how important it is. That is how powerful the law of influence is. And for us, for some of you who are still starting out on becoming a powerful or a fantastic leader, this is one of those laws that will give you a glimpse of what it is to become a real leader. It will give you an idea. So that's what I need to do. If I really want to become a leader, so that's what I need to follow. Later on, we will be talking about, we call it the myths, 5 myths of leadership. We'll be talking about that a little later. But at least knowing the law of influence will automatically give you an idea, a general idea on what leadership is and what leadership should be. Okay, so let's look into the topic now. Let's talk about the law of influence now. Let me just share with you my slides. Uh, Before we get into that, I'd like to highlight pala the point that this is our this is our next, second offering of the Monday Learning Habit through FB Live. If you remember, last Monday, we discussed the law of the lid. That was July 5. And this will go on every Monday for the entire month of July. So July 5, 12, 19, and 26. So for the first 2 Mondays, 5 and 12, we're starting at 1 p.m. So this, I don't know what time this will end. But on the 19th and 26th, kindly check on the time. We start at 7 p.m. Why are we starting at 7 p.m.? The law of the process on the 19th and the law of navigation on the 26th. Because if you look below, we will have a 4-day supervisory training program on the 19th, 20th, 26th, and 27th. And it starts at 1 p.m. and ends at 5 p.m. So there's an overlap on 19 and 26. So we will be doing the supervisory skills in the afternoon for 19 and 26. So we will bump off the morning the learning habit to 7 p.m. of 19 and 26. Oh, I need to check. I think I have a meeting on the 19th and 19th. I'll look into that again. But the 4-day supervisory training program is pretty much a mini MBA. I've been doing this for during my face-to-face programs. I run this for a 2 full-day program, 5-day program, 10-day program. Depends on the schedule that my client can give me. But this discusses the 4 basic functions of a supervisor: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Now, depending on the book that you will be reading, of course, there will be many other functions of a supervisor. But the basic one that we've been using for the longest time talks about only the 4: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And that's the reason why we have 4 sessions, 4 hour sessions, 19, 20, and 26, 27, because we'll be tackling each function every meeting. Actually, we'll be spending a little more time on leadership because the topic on leadership is really vast. So that'll be on the 19th, 20, 26, 26th, and 27th. And we have a special learning session. Last Thursday, on the 8th, we already did knowing your disc behavior profile. Now, a lot of you already saw that. A lot of you may even said, wow, so that's how I behave. That's the reason why I behave this way. Because that's my behavioral tendency. Now, remember, we mentioned that time that we are all a balance or a mixture or a blend of all 4. Don't silo yourself to a specific behavioral tendency. No, we are all 4. So if you missed this one, backtrack again. This is in Facebook Live, so you can check it again on the Facebook account, Angel Lozari or Lozari Consulting. You can watch this. This was facilitated actually by a guest facilitator, Weng Aspirin, one of the experts on this behavioral profile, and we requested her to be the one to discuss this. Now, on the 24th, For some of you who got the chance to watch the first offering of this, the part one of introduction to Canva, a lot of you gave me a feedback that, hey, Canva pala is very nice, it's very good, and I'd like to learn more about Canva. That's why we have this again. On the 24th, we'll have the part 2 of how to use Canva. Canva kasi is a very powerful tool in creating ads, in creating presentations. In fact, the presentation that I will be making today, I'll be using Canva. Okay, it's entirely Canva. Even this design, uh, this calendar, I used Canva to do this. Of course, I'm not as artistically as inclined by like some of you are there who might be watching this. But imagine, even though I'm not that artistically inclined, I was able to do this. And for me, it looks nice. Of course, the colors is maroon. Why maroon? Because that's the color of my school. If you know what school has the color of maroon, you know my school. So, I like the balance. I like everything because I was the one who did it, di ba? Siyempre, ako na magkakagusto. Okay, so let's look at our topic now. Let's discuss. And the law of influence. Sabi ni John Maxwell, the true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. Grabe. That's why I told you a while ago, this is probably one of the most important laws of the law of leadership by John Maxwell because of this. The true measure of leadership is influence. Influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So, if you'd like to talk about leadership, if you'd like to know about leadership, if you'd like to understand leadership, then you need to understand the law of influence. You need to understand influence in the context of leadership. Because, sabi nga, true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So, question is, how do we influence? But before that, let's talk about some things that people think about leadership, which probably are not aligned with what leadership really means. In this part, I'll be sharing with you one of my most favorite, most not favorite pa, shows on TV. I think they were being shown in either National Geographic or Discovery Channel. And the title of their show is Mythbusters. So what did they do in Mythbusters? Actually, the show already ended. I think they rebooted it again. I don't know. I haven't watched it again. So what is Mythbusters? Okay, these are two, well, people in the film world or film industry. They create gadgets, they create so many things. And in this show, what they were doing was they search the internet or search whatever they will be searching, uh, and look for myths. Is it true that this is like this? So many different myths. Like for example, one of the favorite myths that I saw, that they did is on YouTube. They saw a car floating in the air, powered only by, I think, six or eight, uh, the fire truck, the hose. They connected six or eight firehouse hoses on a car, and they turned it on, and the car supposedly flew, or actually it was lifted by the sheer power of the water. Okay, so there were six or eight hoses attached to a car, pointed downwards to the ground, and when they opened it, will it fly? And if I remember it right, it did. It did for a few centimeters. If I remember it right, I don't take my word for it. But it's I think they were able to fly the car. The challenge at the time was the balancing, because the power, the hoses uh, uh, transfer to the car was not balanced, so the car would tilt either on the left or on the right side, and it has to be the same power, the same level, the same strength that will be transferred to the car. So that's the challenge that they had to endure. So Mythbusters, they busted myths. And since we're talking about leadership, let's do what they are doing. Let's bust some myths. And in busting some myths, what we will be busting now are 5 myths about leadership. So, what is a myth? Myth is you have pork, you have beef, chicken. No, not that kind of myth. Myth is an alamat. It is a something that people believe in without testing its validity, without testing its soundness, if it's true or not. So that's a myth. So here we're talking about the 5 myths about leadership. Actually, this was written by John Maxwell, and he was the one who made these 5 myths, okay, or collated these 5 myths. And let's look into those 5 myths. So, management myth, entrepreneur myth, knowledge myth, pioneer myth, and position myth. Let's look at it one by one. Let's start with the management myth. Management myth says that if you create an organization, if you put up a company, and since you are the creator, the maker, the founder, the CEO, if that's your position of that particular organization, then you are a leader. Okay, that's what the entrepreneurship or the myth the entrepreneurship myth is saying. If you are the one who put up the company, then you are a leader. Now, what's the take of John Maxwell on this, and my take as well? Not because you're an entrepreneur, not because you put up a company, it means automatically that you are a leader. Okay, these are two different things. They may be connected with each other, but they are separate. Putting up a business, being an entrepreneur, uh, uh, the important or the critical part of that is you need an idea on what a product or a service is needed by the market, and you will be the one to put it out there, to create it. Like for example, this training company that I have, Luzari Consulting, I was the one who put this up. Okay, we created this 1999 together with my wife, and uh, in a span of more than 20 years, we've had the opportunity of giving service to so many companies, a lot of them in the top 100 companies, and we've run programs on leadership, on motivation, sales, so many. Now, does that automatically mean that I am a leader? John Maxwell saying no, no. Why? Because the 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 key result areas in putting up a company and leading people are different. You may be the most uh, brilliant entrepreneur, but leadership talks about handling people, influencing people. Now, we've heard of so many leaders, or so many entrepreneurs who are not well liked by their people. And one of these individuals, as studied also by John Maxwell, is a person with the surname Ford. Not the dad Ford, but the son Ford. And in that um, article of John Maxwell, he's saying that this Ford, this son, kept on make kept on creating situations where his employees will be fighting amongst each other. Okay, so you're saying that this is not the right type of leadership, because people will not follow you. In fact, a lot of people left him because of that. The infighting in the organization was so strong that the high flyers, or the good employees felt, this is not the culture for me. You should motivate me to grow, not put us in a position where we would be fighting amongst each other. That's not the situation. So his top employees, a lot of his good people left the organization because they felt the culture was not conducive for them growing, and he was not able to influence these individuals into following what he thought is right. Kaya nga, the entrepreneur myth says, not because you're an entrepreneur, it means you are a leader immediately. I met with a very powerful entrepreneur before when I was still the head of product planning of an automotive company. Of course, we were looking for suppliers, and one of the products that we needed, one of the um, uh, specifications that we had in the vehicle that we needed suppliers on was the leather seats. Now, leather seats for vehicles, usually we get it from international companies from abroad. But there's also a leather industry in the Philippines, specifically in Marikina, a very powerful leather industry. And I met with one of the manufacturers of leather in Marikina. And this guy, well, he knew his craft. He knew what needed to be done for him to penetrate the market of the leather industry, of the leather goods, and he knew what needed to be done. But I remember what he told me. We entrepreneurs, he said, we entrepreneurs, we are good in smelling where the opportunity is. Exact words, but in Filipino. Uh, we are good at smelling where the opportunity is, where the money is. But to create a structure around it and to lead our people towards that direction, maybe that's not for me. Not you saying not for me, meaning not for him. So he's saying I'm a good entrepreneur. I know where money is. I know where opportunity lies. But in terms of leading people, I'm not the best leader. I might not be able to push my people. In fact, his solution was he hired people to run the organization for him. So all he needed to do was to look for opportunities, to find areas in the industry where he can come in and supply. So he is a very powerful example of the entrepreneur myth. Not because you're an entrepreneur, it automatically means that you are a leader. These are separate things. These are two different things. So if you want to become a leader, don't think that just because you're an entrepreneur, automatically you are already a leader. Now, that's the myth number one. I talked about entrepreneur immediately, but the myth number one is the management myth. Tingnan mo naman, uh, paumanhin. I my eyes played with me. Okay, so number two, let's talk about the management myth. Sinimulan ko sa because I like discussing the entrepreneur myth, by the way. Let's talk about management myth. So that's now number two, and entrepreneur myth became number one immediately. Okay, the management myth. What does the management myth say? If I'm part of the management, okay, if I rise in the organizational ladder, meaning starting from rank and file, I got promoted to becoming a supervisor, a junior, senior supervisor, then to become a manager, an entry level manager, as a junior, mid level, high level manager, depends on the structure of your organization. The myth says that if you are part of the management, automatically you are a leader. You know, if you are part of the management, automatically you are a leader. Now, that is a myth. That is a myth. Why is it a myth? Because it doesn't follow. Remember, at the start of our discussion, I shared with you the 4-day supervisory skills program that we'll be having next week and next week. And I told you that there are four functions: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So, in the management, in the four roles of a management, leadership is one of the roles. In fact, that is a very important role. But that is not the only role. You still have planning, you still have organizing, and you still have controlling. So these are the four functions of manager. Now, not all managers can lead because managing per se, if we will differentiate leadership and management. In so many books, they keep on differentiating the two. So let's do it also. Management is more of controls. Management is more of structures. Management is more of the horizontal function of somebody on top, meaning making sure that the organization is set up for it to advance. Okay, that's management. Leadership, on the other hand, focuses more on the people. So if management focuses on the process, on the systems, leadership focuses on people, on relationships, on motivation. So that's where leadership focuses on. So the in the management myth, it says that if you are a manager, automatically you are already a good leader. No, you still need to learn how to become a good leader for you to become a powerful manager. Remember, leadership is only a function of management: planning, organizing, leading, controlling. So if you are a manager, you should still learn how to become a leader, because it is possible that you are a manager, meaning you're doing planning, organizing, and controlling effectively, but you are not a leader. Now, you can argue that, hey, you need all the four. So if you're not if you're not complete, then you're not yet a manager. Yeah, but correct. But I mentioned a while ago that the concept of management is really more on control and structures, not on leadership. Pero yeah, if we will if we want to split hairs, maybe you could say that. Pero in the essence of it, not because you are a manager means you already are a leader. You still need to earn the leadership status. Some managers kasi this is the tendency. If I am a manager and you are my subordinate, I tell you, you follow me. Why? Because I am your manager. You are my subordinate. You are under me. You need to follow me, whether you like it or else. And if you do not follow me, come performance appraisal, I'll fail your appraisal, and two more times you're out of this company. So you need to follow me. So yes, you are making them, influencing them to a certain extent, but it is a forced thing. So they are not following you because they want to follow you, but simply because they need to follow you. Okay. Now, is that a style of leadership? Yes, it is a style of leadership, but it is not a style of leadership that we prescribe to. Influencing, that's the leadership. And as a manager, if you are a manager, not because you have the title, people will automatically follow you. Now, for a lot of us here, we've had a chance of working in an organization. Well, a lot of you are still under those under organizations as part of a company or a corporation, or of a an informal organization, like a sales organization in case of networking companies. So we've we've met a lot of leaders, or a lot of managers or supervisors or uplines for those in sales, who have the title, but when they command, when they tell us something to do, we do not follow. I'm sure you've experienced that. And ito pang maganda, in management, or in companies and organizations, there are even individuals who are not part of the management team, but they lead. When they say something, we follow. Why? Because management and leadership is not automatic. It's not that if you have one, you automatically have the other. You need to learn how to be able to become good in becoming a leader and in becoming a manager as well. Kaya nga, the management myth is not true, because you need to learn how to lead people, and not because you have the title, you automatically are the manager, or you automatically are a leader. It could be People are just following you not because you are leading them effectively, but because they are just afraid of what will happen to them. Now, tingnan natin ngayon. I guess it is perfect. This is the third now of the myths. And the myth is the knowledge myth. Okay. Ito gustong gusto ko to. I like this so much. The knowledge myth. Why? Knowledge myth tells us that if you are intelligent, then you are a leader. So it's like relating the leadership skill to your IQ or IQ level. Now, question, just ask yourself, have you met leaders who are intellectually challenged, who are not top of the food chain in terms of the knowledge the knowledge aspect? Meron bang leader whom you'd consider are not educated enough, not knowledgeable enough, but they lead? Well, I'm sure you can think of one. Ganito na lang, I give you a hint. We had one president before who probably would be the best example of this. People were playing jokes about his intelligence. They were laughing at him. And yet, he was able to influence enough number of people to get elected into power. Imagine mo yun. And he became the leader of our entire country. Now, I'm just saying that I'm in our entire country because he was the leader of a city before and after that. No? He became the mayor of a huge city. And he was able to do that even if people were laughing at his intelligence level. So, if you are intelligent, does that mean that you are a leader? Hindi eh. In Apple, for example, of course, when we hear the company Apple, only one name comes up, and it is Steve Jobs. Huh? That's the name. Automatic. That's the name. Steve Jobs. Why? He's brilliant. That's what people say. He's brilliant. He's able to command people. He's able to influence people. But if you will study the history of Apple as a company, you will learn that Steve Jobs was not the brains of Apple. There's another person, another Steve, who was just at the back and doing all of these technical things for Apple. He was the brains. And if you Google the name is Steve Wozniak. I will not be spelling it to you because it's difficult to spell. Baka ma-X pa ako. But just check on the history of Apple. You will see there two Steves. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. And Wozniak is actually the brains behind the technical side of Apple. Pero Steve Jobs kasi is a marketing guy. He's a salesperson. He can talk so eloquently that you would want to listen to the guy. You would want to listen to him because he talks, well, you learn so many things from him. You want to understand him. You want to follow him. Grabe. Now, there's also another person though na sobra to influence people and yet he's also brilliant. Yun na, iba yun. And I guess you know who that is. He is the real deal Iron Man. Not the Iron Man in Marvel, but Iron Man in real life. Now, if you know who I'm talking to, you know his car, you know his ideas. One of the things that he's doing right now is he'd like to send people to Mars. Not only to the moon, but to Mars. He'd like to send people in Mars. And one of the projects that he has now is he is uh, 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 going to produce airplanes, passenger airplanes that run on batteries. Think about it. An airplane run in batteries. Fantastic guy. Kaya nga, he's so brilliant. He's the richest man in the world now. He's so influential, pero he is so brilliant also. Ang galing. But then again, on the myth side, the intelligence myth or the knowledge myth, it says na automatically, if you're intelligent, if you're knowledgeable, you're a leader. Hindi. The knowledge thing is on the technical side. The leadership thing is on the human relations side. These are two different things. That is why, not because you are intelligent, it means you already are a leader. But it would help if you are intelligent and at the same time, you are a leader. You can influence people. Okay? So that's the knowledge myth. Let's look at the next. Number 4. And number 4 talks about pioneering. What does it say? The pioneer myth. And the pioneer myth tells us that if you are the first, then you are the market leader. You are the leader. If you're the first to do something, then automatically you are the leader. Now, let's look at companies here, not just individuals. Right now, everybody knows, in the entire world, everybody knows what Facebook is. We know that. Facebook, powerful. One of the biggest companies in the entire world today, Facebook. But is Facebook the pioneer in social media? Is it the pioneer in bringing people together in a single platform? It is not. And according to your age, you might think of these organizations. Friendster. Friendster. Remember, there was a time Friendster was top of the food chain. Friendster was the biggest. We were talking about Friendster all the time. And this was circa what? Year 2000. Friendster was the in thing. And now the question is, where is Friendster? Do you still hear about Friendster? Not anymore. Not anymore. Why? Because Facebook overtook them by a mile. And right now, they are not simply biting the dust of Facebook. They are totally non-existent. But Friendster was ahead of Facebook. And Friendster was not even the first. There were other organizations ahead of Friendster. But Facebook is now the biggest. Now the question is, will Facebook stay as the biggest? We don't know. But Facebook right now, what they are doing is that they're trying to gobble up all small organizations that have the hint of overtaking them. Yun ang iniisip agad. So if ever there's an organization that they think, this is going to be big later on, let's buy them out. That's what they're doing right now. Kaya nga, Facebook is the biggest now. Will they be the biggest forever? I am sure that eventually things will so many other companies will challenge them. Google attempted to. They have Google Plus, but it didn't gain traction. So, other organizations have attempted to. Microsoft is attempting to, but they have not gained traction yet. But Facebook, it is so powerful now. Again, we don't know if they will stay that way forever, but what we know now is that they are very powerful, humongous organization. So, not because you are the pioneer, it means you will be the leader of the pack. Not because you're the first to do something, it means people will follow you, and you will be leading all of them forever. Not necessarily. lately I was watching some reaction videos on YouTube, and I learned of a guy, Easy. He is a rapper. He's a Filipino rapper. Easy something. Just check him out in YouTube. Easy, and I heard some of his songs or his raps, and there were other rappers giving a reaction or creating reaction videos on his songs or on his raps. Easy Meal, that's the name, Easy Meal. Thank you, Janet. Easy Meal, and what they're saying is that he's a real deal, and I saw a lot of reaction videos on him, all praises. And ito nga eh, before when I hear or when I listen to rap, I think, ah, that's not music. That's not really me. Okay, so I can dance with it because usually the tempo of raps are nice to dance on, but that's not really a song. And the what I hear usually are just rants. People who are cussing here and there, ranting about what they have in life, the different opportunities that were not given to them, all of these things. But when I heard the way these rappers were making, were doing their reaction on Easy Mills rap, I saw a different, it gave me a different understanding of what rap is. Imagine, they were they were reacting to a rap, and and I heard words like poetic, poetic for a rap, poetic. And when you listen, indeed you can say it's poetic. Like there was a line he says, "I went to Spain, but the S was silent." Huh? I went to Spain, but the S was silent. So Spain with a silent S is pain. And what you're saying is he experienced pain. Ha! Oo nga. Poetic nga. Now, why am I talking about Easy Mills? Because he's new in the block. He's a new rapper. And yet he's a fast, uh, 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 well, a rapper who is he's becoming well known in the rap world so fast that people are looking into him as probably as probably one of the biggest would be rappers in the world. Okay, so I saw his rap. Then I saw the same persons reacting to the latest music or rap of Eminem. Now, Eminem, top of the food chain again, the biggest name or one of the biggest names in the rap world. Eminem changed the rap environment when he came in. And when they were reacting to Eminem, they were dissing him. They were saying that his his rap was no good. His music was no good. That it is not as exciting as the previous creations that he did. So, of course, Easy Mills fan, Filipino eh, Filipino. In fact, in his raps, he was rapping in Tagalog and he was rapping in Kapampangan. Grabe. So in one of his raps, he used three languages: English, Filipino, and Kapampangan. And even the other rappers who were reacting to him were surprised that he could do that so powerfully in three different languages. Ang galing. So Eminem, they were saying he was no longer that powerful, and Easy Mills is going up. So is there a possibility of Easy Mills overtaking the popularity of Eminem? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe if you ask Marty McFly, he'll be able to tell you. But right now we don't know. But what I know is Easy Meals is skyrocketing in terms of popularity so fast, and people are noticing him now. And Eminem, those in the, because when Eminem was on at the top of his game, nobody would diss him. Nobody will say negative words to him. Why? Because you will be part of his song, and he will set aside probably an entire bar for you in the rap, just to diss you, just to put you down, just to annihilate you as a person. Kaya nga, if they're doing that to him now, probably means he's not that powerful anymore. And all of them, the same guys, are all praises to Easy Mills. Maybe we will have the first Filipino international rapper who is top of the food chain as well. Baka, hopefully, I do hope so. Okay, so again, not because you're the pioneer, you are the leader of the pack. There's a possibility that even if you are the pioneer, if you're the first to do something, other organizations, other individuals, other companies will eventually overtake you. That's why you should never sit on your laurels. You should always reinvent yourself. And one of the best persons, as an example of reinventing themselves, is Madonna. Madonna. Ang galing ni Madonna. When was the first time you heard of the name Madonna? 1980s pa yan. When she became famous. And until now, she's still breaking some barriers. She's still in the news, and people are still following her. Madonna keeps reinventing herself. Ang galing. Kaya nga, even if you're the pioneer, you should always innovate and do things differently, so that you'll still keep yourself on top, and you will still get to be a leader of the pack. That's what you need to do. Kaya nga, remember, being a pioneer does not automatically make you a leader. Okay, let's tackle the last one. The fifth is what we call the position myth. Oh, okay. And what is the position myth telling us? Just like in the management myth, that's like just like in uh, the entrepreneur myth. The position myth says that if you're if you have the position, if you have the title in the organization, automatically you are the leader. Yan. Uh, Dito pumapasok. Here is where the non informal leader comes in. What is an informal leader? An informal leader is a leader who is informal. Clear, di ba? And the uh, the informal leader tells us that if even if you're not in the position, even if you don't have the title, you can still lead. In your organization, ito yung sinabi ko kanina, in your organization, are there individuals whom you follow even if they are not the leaders? Are there individuals in your organization whom people follow, not only you, whom people follow if even if they are not the formal leaders of the organization? Actually, there are so many. In fact, even in the upper management level, I've experienced this so many times. We are managers. So of course, since we are managers, we're the same level and we're from different functions. In one organization, I was a manager, and I had two sections under me. I had the training section and I have the product planning section at the same time. Now, there are also other managers same level as me. Okay, but when it comes to meetings, whenever we had meetings, and we were all there in the same room, you will notice individuals who, when they talk, when they speak, the other managers would suddenly keep silent and listen to that person. Now that's a leader. Now, he is not a formal leader in the sense that he's not the leader of the managers. We are all in the same level. We were all managers. But whenever he spoke, we would listen. We would listen. We would suddenly keep mum on what we wanted to say, and we would listen to what he will be saying. Now, he is a leader. Kaya nga, you don't need to have the position for you to be considered a leader. You don't have to have the position title and to be granted the position title for you to be able to influence other individuals. The leadership skills in you, your ability to influence others, will come out even if you don't have the title. Kaya nga, if we will look at these 5 myths when we talk about leadership, the management, entrepreneur, knowledge, pioneer, position, what all of these are saying is that leadership is a different ball game. Leadership says that we need to learn how to understand people. We need to learn how they think. We need to learn how to communicate effectively with them for us to be able to become their leader. And one of the greatest tools a leader must have to be able to influence others is communication. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to say the words that they will feel and understand. Because if there is a disconnect between what you are saying, what you want them to understand, and what they are actually understanding, if there is a disconnect, they will not follow you. They will not understand you. Kaya nga, if you look at all the leaders in the world, you will see one very critical and important commonality between all of them, and it is communication. Now, when I was a newbie when it comes to leadership, I wanted to learn, how do you become a leader? And of course, the best persons that I felt would bring me to that, or teach me what a leadership, or what leadership is all about, should be individuals who lead people who are not reporting directly to them. Kasi it's so easy to look at the CEO of a company or a manager of a company as a leader. It's easy because people will automatically follow them. If not, they get fired. Pero leaders who lead people who are not reporting to them, now that's powerful. So I needed to know, how can they lead? How is it that these individuals can make their people lead? Their people follow them. So, sinong tiningnan ko? Who are the individuals? Who are these persons? I researched on. And I guess if you are a Filipino, you've heard of these names. Mike Velarde, Eli Soriano, Wilde Almeida. Okay, just those 3 first. Who are they? These are leaders of religious organizations. Religious organizations. Now, if you will check on YouTube how they talk, totally different. Why? Okay. Check on Wilde Almeida first. He is the leader of Jesus Miracle Crusade, JMC. I don't know. I haven't watched them recently, but during that time when I was studying leadership, he was always on TV, and the way he would speak, he was bombastic. That's how he spoke. Real energy, real power. And his flock, as they were listening to him, they were crying, they were shouting, they were standing, jumping all around. Powerful! Powerful leader! Wilde Almeida, powerful! Now I said, aha. So, if I'd like people to follow me, if I want to influence their lives, if I want to become their leader, then I should be bombastic as well. Ah! Leadership, it will! Maybe I would need to talk that way. But then, when I changed the channel, I saw Mike Velarde. And he was holding his paper, and he would talk like, okay, everybody stand up. Okay, I want you to jump 3 times. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit, but that's how he spoke. Monotonous. No power, no inflection, just and yet, when he said, okay, jump 3 times. That was the power, Jump 3 times. And you will see hundreds of thousands of people in front of him jumping 3 times. With that command, jump 3 times. And people will be jumping. Wow! And I said, teka. This is the exact opposite of Wilde Almeida. Wilde Almeida was so powerful in the way he would talk. And this guy had no power in him. And he would just walk around with this white sheet of paper. And everyone would be listening to him and following him. Ay, powerful leader. Ang galing. He's so good. Okay, so, question is, teka, is it on the way you speak? Is it the power, the intonation, the inflection, the energy? Then I changed the channel again. And I saw Eli Soriano. By the way, Mike Velarde is with El Shaddai. Wilde Almeida is Jesus Miracle Crusade, and Eli Soriano is with Ang Dating Daan. Okay. This was the time, if some of you are from ADD here, if you will remember, the first few times that Eli Soriano would lecture on TV, he had a whiteboard behind him. If you're an old member of ADD, you will know this. Whiteboard behind him. And he would write on the whiteboard. He would write, okay, this is what the verse says, write something there. But this is connected to this, he would write here. And this is connected to this, he would write here. And higher in. And at the end, he would connect all of those verses. He would connect all logical things. And you will see that different chapters and different verses in the Bible, all of them, even if they are so far apart, are all connected. Ang galing! Powerful again. So it's about logic. It's about logic. So, problem is, paano ng leadership? If it's about communication, then what is it? How do you influence people? Communication, tinignan ko, okay, but iba-iba eh. Different leaders, different styles of communication, and they all influence people. So what is it really? What is leadership? What do we mean by being able to lead others? And yun nga eh, perfect na yung sinabi of John Maxwell. When it comes to leadership, it's really all just about influence. Sabi nga ng isang dakilang makata, a true leader can influence not only when standing front and center, but when seated back and corner. You don't need to be in front of people to become their leader. Because influencing is not even being there present in front of them. If you are truly a leader, you can influence them even if they're not seeing you. They're not hearing you. But they follow what you say. Dinagdag pa ni John Maxwell, sabi niya, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. Ganda nito. I love this line. He who thinks he leads but has no followers is only taking a walk. If you think you are a leader and people don't follow you, you're just taking a walk. You're not really a leader. Kaya nga, at the end of the day, when we talk about leadership, the question that you need to ask yourself is, can you influence people? Can you influence their thinking? Can you make them follow you? Because if you can, if you are doing those things, then put a check mark on your leadership. You are a leader. But even if you have the title, even if you are an entrepreneur, even if you are the pioneer, even if you are the manager of the organization, if people do not follow you, then you can be all of those things, but not a leader. Leadership is about influence. It's about doing things with your people and through your people. It's about leading them to a certain direction. It's influencing their mind, and most importantly, it's influencing their heart. Because if you get their heart, if they follow you by heart, or if they believe in you by heart, they will follow you in mind. Influencing is about aligning with the way they feel, and eventually with the way they think. But given a choice, for me, given a choice, align with what they feel versus align with what they think, for me, align with what they feel first, and they will align what they think to what you think. It's about influencing their heart. So I hope you learned something today. This is the second law of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And next week, we'll be tackling another one, another topic, which is the law of process. No? The law of process. Diyan naman, leadership is not a one-time thing. It is a process. And we'll take a look at that. Now, for these laws of leadership, you don't need to enroll. It's in YouTube, in Facebook. You can just watch it there. Some of you are watching it now. Some of you may watch this tonight or later. Still the same. The two special training programs. The next will be about Canva, which we will have on the 24th. And there are a few remaining slots for the Supervisory Skills program. If you want to enroll in that program, visit the website www.lozariconsulting.com/seminars. Just check on that website, and we'll be talking about so many things in that session. Again, I'll be sharing with you what planning, organizing, leading, and controlling is. I'm just I mentioned so many times my website, but I never got the chance to write it. So you can see it. So I'm writing it now. reconsulting.com/seminars. So for some of you who'd like to enroll uh, in that seminar, this is the website. So you can take a screenshot of it. Uh, Small and big caps. Okay. Aha. Okay. So again, this is the website. Zari Consulting. Remember, the spelling is not consulting. It's consulting. So www.lazariconsulting.com/seminars, and there are there are many seminars there. Just check on this and search for the supervisory skills enhancement program. It's under leadership, the leadership programs. Just click in there, click the tab there, and it will bring you to the registration. Okay, so with that, maraming salamat. Thank you for joining us either through live by being here right now, or delayed telecast, team replay, and we'll have some more of these talks and learn more about leadership and so many other things. Okay? So, maraming salamat. Ako muli si Angel ng Lazari Consulting. Magandang umaga sa inyo lahat.